In defense of his WBO welterweight title, Brian Norman Jr. has put not only the welterweights, but the boxing world on notice after his destruction of Derek Cuevas. We're talking about the type of performance that sends a message. It resonates through boxing that this man is about his business. I can continue to tell you that the climate of the sport of boxing is changing, and it's changing upward in a place where you're going to see better efforts, because now there are fighters on the block who are going to demand that you bring their best, lest you get embarrassed. And sometimes even when you bring your best, you can still be embarrassed, because this is how it's being put down. And I love it because it makes people get their act together. Let's talk about this Brian Norman Jr. Derek Cuevas fight, his post-fight comments, and what could be on the horizon. The Saturday, March 29th card that headlined Michaela Mayer, Sandy Ryan 2, the WBO welterweight title between two women who were committed to show the world who was best. But the co-main event, Brian Norman Jr. versus Derek Cuevas, for Norman Jr.'s WBO welterweight title, proved to be quite an experience for everyone in the theater. You see, boxing people knew that Cuevas, though majorly unknown, was going to bring something with the unknown factor to challenge Norman Jr. And Norman had to be on his P's and Q's, not only to make certain that he ensures that he lets you know who's the real champion here. However, he had to send a message to the rest of the division. And boy, did he ever. Cuevas came in strong, but Norman Jr. showed something that even I didn't talk about, but it was readily apparent. Hand speed. This young man can let his punches go, but not only is he fast with it, but he throws his shots with bad intentions. We haven't heard that in a long time. But you know what? He lives up to that. And so it was a third round destruction of Cuevas that saw Norman Jr. not only retain his title, but I think he sent some shockwaves through the welterweight division. I don't need to see much more of this young man to tell you he's the best fighter at welterweight right now. He is. And it's all because of the mindset that he has, the dedication that he is looking to commit to when the bell rings. He's not looking to put on a show. He's not worried about his ring attire and outfits. He's worried about how he's gonna go upside the opponent's head and get rid of him so he can step over the body and get to the next one. We haven't seen the likes of that since people like Julian Jackson, Gerald McClellan. Yeah! And that brings heat. It brings fire, and that makes people tune in. But even in the post-fight, he has some things to say.
Brian, there's some good gigs, good money to be had out in Japan. Are you down to defend the title on the road?
Oh, definitely. I love going to other people's hood all the time. So, shoot, I'm probably on Japan anyway.
Hey, whoever said you weren't a real champion, you proved to him tonight in the rest of the world that you are.
I only took 3 rounds to get him up at that time, so you tell me.
Anything you want to say to the other 147 pounders who send a message to them?
Hey, yo, I'm here. You see what I did? You see what I did after 10 months of being off? Had hand surgery and all of that. So now what? I'm going full blast for all y'all.
This young man, he reminds me so much of fighters from the pre-era of current day. He's businesslike, man. He doesn't care about all the jaw jacking and everything. It's the next man up. He's asking them, did y'all just see what I did? 3 rounds. I've been off for 10 months. I had hand surgery and everything, and I am just ready to go. And that's what we want to see from these fighters. Not all of that, who do you think I should fight? You tell them. You pick them. I don't know. Who is that? What has he done? All of that foolishness that you've been hearing from these guys for the past 5 to 7 years. You got a new sheriff in town in the welterweight division. And yeah, that other young man over there that's going to fight on April 12th from Philly. He's got his hands full with his opponent. But after the dust settles between those parties, someone is still going to have to face this man in Norman Jr. And though Keyshawn Davis' nickname in boxing is the businessman, Brian Norman Jr. is all business, man. Listen up.
You mentioned your hand surgery. How's it feeling?
Sure, we on the money. We back at the game, baby. We back at the game.
Did he buzz you with the left hook in the first round a few times?
No, not at all. Not at all. He ain't bug. As you see, every time he hit me, I cut right on back with it. So it wasn't a problem at all.
Was that a hook you hit him with at the end to stop the fight, or was it a power jab? It looked like you made an adjustment.
That was a power jab. So I came out too tight, you feel me? So like, came out all tensed up and everything. So after a while, I just relaxed, started letting my hands go. And just shoot, straight jab down the pipe, back jab. Sit that band fine.
Well, it looks like you used the right hand to get more leverage on the power jab. Was that something you knew you were going to have to use in this fight, or was it an adjustment you had to make on the fly?
adjustment on the fly. But I knew for a fact the jab anyway is your bread and butter at all times. So shoot, it's just more leverage, like you just said, with that right hand. Just shoot that thing down the pipe.
You know, he also understands the technical questions that'll come his way, and he can be animated quite very much when he speaks about it. That jab, that right hand, his hooks, his power punches, to use the words of my brother BFTB Boxing, shout out to BFTB. His punches are crisp, sharp shots. And sharp shots can hurt you, people. They can get you in trouble. They can get you dazed, confused. And when he put Cuevas down, Cuevas was dazed and confused. So much to the degree that when he arose to his feet inside the count, he turned his back to the ref and started walking away as the ref was beckoning him to, hey, are you good? You okay? You ready to go? He never acknowledged the ref. Now, one or two things happened there, or maybe both. One, he didn't know where he was, and he was trying to play it off, to show that he was good, but he wasn't sure of his bearings. Or two, he had decided in that instance that he had had enough. It looked an awful lot alike the finishing combo that he put on Giovanni Santillan last summer. In that fight, I had remarked that Robert Garcia allowed Santillan take too much punishment, because I could see the intensity of how Norman was going after Santillan. He seems to relish hurting people, a lot like Gerald McClellan. This is something very fierce, people. This is one of the reasons why you study boxing history, because when you pay attention to fighters that were known to exhibit a certain degree of aggression and a certain type of mindset, it channels something, because it's not the first time. The sport has been around for 200 years. But this fighter here, if you do not come to the ring in all seriousness, prepared from the opening bell to the final bell, he's going to take your head off. And there's no remorse, there's no feeling sorry, there's no being apologetic. He is about that business. And I love it, because we've had people who have been apathetic, they've been content, and they've been just happy to make a payday and get by. But just like when Mike Tyson came up in the heavyweight division in the mid to late 80s, once he started knocking people off the block, those remnants looked around and said, I better get myself in some kind of shape if I got to fight this guy. But it was too late, because a lot of them had allowed themselves to fall off like that. And the end result was more cannon fodder for Mike. So Norman is now in a place where people are trying to talk about the possibilities of he facing the likes of Jaron Ennis, or the winner of the Ennis-Stanionis fight. It doesn't matter. He'll bring his record of 27-0 with 21 KOs into that match. He's 24 years of age, and they call him the Assassin 2. I guess his dad was the Assassin 1. But coming out of Decatur, Georgia, this man wants to get it on. It was brought to my attention when I likened him to something somewhat like Marvin Hagler, that during this promotion, he could be seen wearing the famous red hat with the white letters on it, war like Hagler wore. And I hadn't seen it until late last night when I started going through some content. And there was Norman Jr. with that war hat on. 5'8", 72-inch reach, in shape. They asked him, what about 154? He says, I ain't thinking about 154. He was like, man, I'm going to be at 147 for 10 years, he said. Oh my goodness. This man knows exactly where he's headed. And he knows exactly what to do with it. Destruct and destroy, just like Marvin Hagler used to say. And I'm going to tell you, the more they asked him questions, the more he was prepared to deliver answers that they weren't prepared to receive.
Dry blood on your nose right there, declocking your nose and get a little bloody.
I was digging in my nose early and some things happened.
With a nice performance, do you believe you are the best IQ in 147?
I've been believing that. I've been believing that. I've been living that. So now it don't mean nothing. I show everybody. Of course, I did my thing with Cuevas, but it's still other belts out there, still other champions out there. So until I'm on top, for real, I can't say nothing.
The winner of Stanionis, of course, Boots, what do you think about it? Because I believe you're going to be the next in order to looking forward to be the undisputed.
What you mean, like regarding how I feel about that fight?
The winner maybe is going to fight with you because I can tell that you're going to be the undisputed.
I'm definitely there. So, shoot, same thing I told my boy Jen, man, if y'all send me the contract, man, let's do it, man. I'm down for it.
When he says that, his boy Jin, Japanese fighter Jin Sasaki, came up to Norman as he was doing this presser with a challenge letter all the way from Japan. You see, he's a Japanese contender and he wants to fight Brian Norman Jr. And Norman told him, hey, we could get it done. Your people get with my people. Let's go. He's like, my eye is on these other titles right now, but I'm not afraid to come to Japan, or you can come over here. Either way, you can get this work. I love it because that shows the focus and the temperament of a real world champion. In fact, he mentioned he's got to get his passport together, but he would love to venture. And that's what I want to see. Fighters who can get out there and just mix it up. That's what entertains. That's what is self-gratifying and fulfilling for them, because when they accomplish things, they gain more confidence, and then they want to do and accomplish more. The money will always come, but the accolades, the acknowledgments don't always come. You have people over in the UK right now still looking for someone, including AJ, to fulfill their heavyweight fantasies, when Daniel Dubois has shown himself to be the man presently, and they're not even looking at Dubois. You see how you can miss the boat? Yeah, just because you don't see the flowers don't mean that you can't smell the fragrance of the bouquet. So when you look at someone like Brian Norman Jr., he's out here getting it done the way that you respect fighters to have done for years, generations. And I can't wait to see him again. I hope he gets to fight 2 or 3 times this year, if not more. One of the things about the Santillan fight from last year was he had a hand injury and he had to have surgery. But even after that, he said in the aftermath of this fight that he's good now. So can't wait to see what's next for him.
Is that the next logical path for you, Brian, is to wait for that winner with Stanionis and Boots, or do you want to go like the Barrios route? Like, how are you looking for the rest of the year?
First, I'm a grown man, so I wait for nobody. So I ain't finna wait on them at all. I still got my own career to attend to. But Barrios over there hiding in the corner doing this little thing, whatever. So where you at, man? I'm trying to get that belt up off of you. Everybody trying to go undisputed out here. You just sitting up here babysitting. So now I need to go in and get that up off of him and shoot, go undisputed with whoever win the fight April 12th, I believe.
Who do you have winning?
I can't really decide. They both champions for a reason, so hey, only God knows.
And as a fight fan, how do you see that
I
fight?
really don't watch them, so I can't say. That's why I said only God knows.
Why not watch them? In your division,
I watch my opponent when I need to. For example, Derek Cuevas, I don't care about him, but as soon as he signed this contract, boom, I'm on him. And whenever I fight anybody, boom, I'm on you. Once again, I'm the assassin. Once I sign that contract, all eyes is on you.
You see, that's a focused man there. He doesn't have to clutter his mind with so much that goes on, only what's necessary. And I'm going to tell you, to have a fighter like him focused exclusively on you, that's some serious business there. And you have to acknowledge that, hey man, he's dangerous. And you have to be on your P's and Q's as well. Brian Norman Jr. is the best welterweight in the world right now, presently, people. And there may be some out here who have their favorites and be upset to hear that. But until someone's able to show it to him in the ring, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But what do you think? This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about Brian Norman Jr., what could be on the horizon for him, and what you'd like to see out of him next, and whom you'd like to see him face next. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.